I heard something not too long ago. It's like you think that the team that's going to win the championship the next season is the team that just won the championship until they don't. We looked at teams like the Warriors and how they got knocked off relatively early. Teams like the Lakers from the bubble after a dominant season turn around and can barely scrap a 7 seed, getting bounced off by the likes of the Suns. So I'm looking at the Celtics. If they want to get to this point again, at least especially relatively soon, like within the next year or two, Jaylen Brown, you're going to have to showcase why you're worth $300 million.
So without Tatum, are the Celtics still contenders, or are they completely done?
I think they're still contenders. That's why you built that level of team. You have Drew Holiday, you have Derek White, you have Al Horford, you got KP, you got Jaylen Brown, you got Peyton Pritchard, 6th man of the year. You got one of the best coaches in the league right now, Joe Mazzulla. Boston's always been deep, in my personal opinion. Jayson Tatum obviously was a top 10 player prior to the injury. We're debating top 10. I'm going to still say that. Now, with the injury with Jayson Tatum, get well. Obviously, that's Achilles. That's no joke. He's going to be out for the whole 2025, 2026 season. So prayers up. I mean, he went out guns blazing for sure. He had 11 points in that fourth quarter within that 7 minutes. I mean, he was single-handedly keeping them in that game. So, I mean, to Jayson Tatum, you going out like that, man, like, salute. Like, you cemented yourself. But with your team, I think y'all are finished. Realistically, I think you can't have $200-300 million players on any team. It will never work in any situation or any universe. It's never going to work. So, Tatum and Brown, one of that's going to have to go. ASAP, cause I think they're about to touch the third window. It's a third luxury tax window where obviously they're way over. Kristaps Porzingis is on the close to $90 million deal. You got Drew Holiday that re-signed for $160. You got Derek White that signed for $160, and then you got Brown for $300. Damn. I mean, you got they're gonna have to get off some guys, and realistically, we know that Drew Holiday is gonna be one of them, but. Outside of that, it's gonna be a lot of construction in that Boston Celtics locker room.
Yeah.
And I feel like that their window was now. I feel like they're about to lose some of their key pieces, and with Tatum being out for the rest of the year, man. Not only is their season over this year, but I think in the future, and even with Tatum coming back, I think this Boston Celtics team, we're gonna have a very different outlook on them. I think it's over.
So, would you agree that Tatum is the engine of the team?
No.
Nah, I wouldn't say that.
No. I think it is kind of crazy how deep the Celtics are. If you want to have a team constructed to withstand the loss of your best player, you probably look at the Celtics as like a model because of how deep their team is in terms of scoring, in terms of people that are capable of doing a good chunk of what Jayson Tatum what Jayson Tatum can do individually by himself. I think in this situation, the Celtics title window, I don't think it's necessarily closed. I think it's just it's closing rapidly fast because I heard something not too long ago. It's like you think that the team that's going to win the championship the next season is the team that just won the championship until they don't. We looked at teams like the Warriors and how they got knocked off relatively early. Teams like the Lakers from the bubble after a dominant season turn around and can barely scrap a 7 seed, getting bounced off by the likes of the Suns. So I'm looking at the Celtics. If they want to get to this point again, at least especially relatively soon, like within the next year or two, Jaylen Brown, you're going to have to showcase why you're worth $300 million.
Pause. Are you subscribed to Check the Stats podcast, man? While we on this pause, you make sure you go on that YouTube link and you subscribe to Check the Stats podcast, or you're going to make my boy Omari sad, man.
I'm going to do something crazy.
That was my next question. Is Jaylen Brown enough to win games without Tatum?
I believe so.
For Finals MVP.
Yeah. We've seen the Celtics ball with Tatum scoring like minimum points. So I feel like the Celtics are fine. I mean, yes, the window is rapidly closing for another championship because of course, he just mentioned it, how much money that they're going to have to come off of for the players. But I feel like I don't know. I feel like they're fine, honestly. Like, they're gonna miss Tatum, but their roster is so deep. You know what I'm saying? They can still compete with the teams that are very good. So I feel like the Celtics, they're fine. You know what I mean?
I think also what benefits them too is like, look at the Eastern Conference. Like, look at how wide open it is. Nobody in their mama would have thought that the final two teams, most likely at the time of this recording, are going to be the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks. Nobody in their mama would have thought that. But because of so many things of unforeseen circumstance, and for such a great migration to the West for all these superstars, it's like the West is such a tough conference that the East is, by default, essentially a cakewalk for a lot of teams. And if you have the right pieces, if you have the right roster, you have the right coaching, which Boston clearly has, your window can be relatively extended, at least coming out of that conference.
So with that being said, with no Tatum, no Porzingis, do you think that the Celtics are basically an average team in the East?
No. I mean, yeah, realistically, yeah. I think Drew Holiday regressed tremendously this year. Offensively, at least. Defensively, he's still the same Drew, but offensively, I mean, he looked light years from what he did last year. Now, I do like Derek White, don't get me wrong, but it's not enough. Like, Derek White is not like,
he's not a star.
You're pretty much asking to go into number 2 scoring role, and I don't think he can do that on any championship contending team because Drew Holiday's never stepping into that role. I think he's pretty much a solid 3-and-D guy right now on the floor. Porzingis is sick. Like, he's been playing back. Like, I mean, he had the illness. Like, they didn't diagnose it yet. I said it wrong.
Gave a diagnostic?
Yeah.
Diagnosis.
Yeah. He said it wrong with me.
My bad.
But
your brother.
While we're on the subject of their roster, I mean, earlier you mentioned Al Horford. How much do you think they can really lean on him at his age?
Not at all.
He finna retire soon.
I've been in the league for a while.
You mentioned him as a core part of the team.
He was, but I mean, shoot, when age kick you like that, he's supposed to be coming out the bench giving you 25 to 27 minutes. 25 to 27 minutes as a role player, of course. I think he's getting overextended because of unforeseeable changes like Porzingis getting hurt, and now you got Tatum that's out for the rest of the year. So it's like with him, I feel like he putting people in roles that they aren't comfortable in, or they're not going to be able to get the best out of their abilities in, and that's going to lead to a blowout tomorrow night with New York taking it and going to they're going to be hosting Indiana for the Eastern Conference Finals, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
On to the next topic though, man. With the addition of
Sorry. Like, pull your shorts down.
Oh yeah, that nigga naked in the last video. Nigga in the last video. I say, where the fuck is your shorts at, nigga? Hey, nigga.
So you think their depth is kind of shot now? Like, they don't have that depth that everybody talks about anymore?
No, I don't think
they still deep. Like,
they don't have depth without people being in their proper roles. I feel like when you make people play above their means, then they're not in their role, so they're not going to excel, or they're not going to produce at the level that we are usually expecting them to produce. And so,
you don't think Mazzulla can overcome?
No.
I think
he won't overcome anything against these fellas.
You don't think Pritchard could step up?
No.
Damn.
I think
Hauser?
No. He's not even playing as is. I just don't think. I think their only hope is Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown has to actually, like what Charles said, he's gonna have to ball his ass off tomorrow and the rest of the playoffs in order for. But forget the money though. Let's just forget the money.
Yeah.
You are an all NBA player. You are an all-star. You want all this respect and all this stuff. You went crying because they didn't pick you for Team USA, but yet and still, this whole playoffs, I think from start to finish, I don't think he's been. Obviously, he came in limping. he came in injured with a knee. So I don't get nobody excuse. If you on the court, obviously everybody got a nick and knack at this point of the year, but Jaylen Brown has not looked good all playoff long, and I think realistically this is going to be a real legacy-defining game tomorrow for him to dictate his future in Boston.
Do you think that this will kind of be a similar mode of like what Brunson was going through in terms of being a teammate of a Luka Doncic, where like now we get
No,
I'm not talking about from the standpoint. Look, I'm not talking about from the standpoint of like, oh, you go from a super competent 2 to, oh my God, you're a superstar. I'm talking about from the likes of like, oh, your talents were suppressed because you had a much better player on the roster, and now you have your chance to run your own show, whether temporarily or not. You get a chance to showcase anything that you're able to flourish on the court.
No,
you don't think that's what Jaylen Brown is capable of?
No, I think Jaylen Brown at his best, like how I said, like you can't put players outside of their proper prospective roles because they won't produce the same. I think Jaylen Brown, his max ability is to be a high level 2 on a championship contending team. I think if you put him in any level of one category where he has to lead a squad, it's going to end badly. He's going to be in them as a 1. I think he'll be in like that tier of like, how can I put it? He'll be like Kevin Durant. Like he'll be in that Kevin Durant tier level player, whereas like he may be able to get you a 30 piece, but it's not producing to no wins. Like. He's not a 1 on any championship contending team.
So the Celtics a real contender without Tatum, or just a good regular season team?
Good regular season team.
Good regular season team.
I mean, Tatum is a vital piece of that team. Don't get me wrong, but with Tatum there, he's taking off some of the pressure of guys like Derek White's and what's his name, Peyton Pritchard's, like certain guys that use Tatum as basically like the kickstart to their offense. Now they're going to have to be able to create their own offense. Now they're going to have to be able to pick up some of the slack that Tatum isn't going to give you because he's out. You're going to have to step into that role. And I don't think, obviously, that's why they're guys that get paid them high max contract for a certain reason. And Tatum, as much criticism as we gave, or I'll say me, I wouldn't speak on y'all two. But as much criticism I gave, I mean, he's an all-NBA level player. So obviously, those are hard shoes to fill. And I'm not expecting anybody on Boston to fill them. But if it was any player on that team to fill them, it's the other $300 million man, Jaylen Brown. And if he doesn't produce, hey, I got something for you next week, baby. Yeah. I'm going to put some fire in your ass.
It's really tough, too, because he in this position where he ain't asked for this, and yet he's thrusted into it. So he got to mess around and showcase why he's worth that $300 million. He got to showcase to Boston why they should value him the same way in the vein that they value Tatum. And if he don't do it rather quickly, it's going to get spooky, my brother.